What up YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to go through 3 shifting mods that will completely revamp the shifting feel of the VB WRX. Now, I recently drove a 2020 Subaru WRX STI, and the shifter in that car made this shifter feel like a toy. It lacks mechanical feel, the throws are long, it's far from precise, and there is a lot of slop. But of course, the aftermarket has solved Subaru's problems as per usual. Before we get into the mods, I want to give a quick shout out to Kevin. He is another VB WRX owner local to me. He let me drive his car with these exact shifting mods, and I was so damn impressed, I almost immediately ordered the same parts. I was shocked of how well these 3 mods improved the shifting feel of this car, which as a result improved the overall driving experience. The first mod is the Billetworkz shift stop. This will remove the slop in the first and second shifter gates. The second mod is the Billetworkz brass shift bushing. This also removes slop, so slop overall will be greatly minimized. The third and final mod is the Cobb shift plate. So this shift plate will reduce the shift throw by either 15 or 35%, depending on where you put the pin position. But of course, we are gonna go with the 35% reduction as we want that shift throw as short as possible. There are plenty of manufacturers that make these exact same parts, so you can definitely mix and match or keep it consistent. But the one unique thing about the Cobb shift plate is that it allows you to retain the OEM dust shield. Whereas other manufacturers like the Billetworkz shift plate doesn't allow you to do that due to its dimensions. I daily my car year round, so I'd rather not risk getting road debris up in the transmission area, which is why I decided to go with the Cobb shift plate versus its competitors. Anyways, now it's time for the install. Now, I won't go through an in-depth tutorial on how to install these parts as there are plenty of videos online, which I'll link below. But instead, I'll give you guys my experience installing these parts and the things that I personally came across. The reason why I was more inclined to do it myself is because a buddy of mine offered to lend a hand and his lift, so getting under the car was no problem. I could see this install being more difficult if you're just jacking up the car and sliding underneath, so if you're not the most mechanically inclined, it may be more challenging as the workspace is quite tight. And for reference, for those of you who want to get this done professionally, I did ask a shop how much it would be in terms of labor, and they quoted me 2 hours. Now, the most trickiest part to install was the shift plate. As mentioned before, the one nice thing about the Cobb shift plate is that the OEM dust shield can be retained, so I didn't have to completely remove it. I removed all of the bolts except for the very top one, which would have been more difficult to remove and reinstall. I'll show you guys shortly why I kept the top bolt on for the dust shield. Only for the Cobb shift plate install, this won't work for the Billetworkz shift plate as you need the dust shield completely removed for that one. From there, the second trickiest thing was removing the roll pin holding the OEM shift plate in. I bought a cheap roll pin punch kit off Amazon, which helped, but it definitely took some patience to get the roll pin out. Now, going back to the dust shield, the reason why I kept the top bolt in place is because there's enough bend in it to allow you to remove the OEM shift plate and install the new Cobb shift plate. Then reinstalling the roll pin back in with the Cobb shift plate in place was also somewhat tricky as you need to line up the roll pin holes perfectly before trying to tap the pin back in. My buddy helped me position the plate while I was reinstalling the roll pin, so having a second set of hands definitely helped on this part. Now, the one thing that I did that I didn't see a whole lot of other tutorials do was torque the transmission carrier bolts to the OEM spec. The specs can be easily found through Google, and that's exactly what I did. Lastly, the shift stop was the easiest part, and it only took 5 minutes to do. You do want to position the shift stop in such a way that will still allow for functional shifting, so some minor iterative adjustments may be needed. Overall, this wasn't extremely difficult to do, but keep in mind I had access to a lift, and I had all the tools that you could possibly need for this type of work. Okay guys, so here we are back in the car, and I've been driving it now for a few days with these mods, and I've got to say, I truly enjoy driving my car so much more now with these 3 mods. First things first, let's talk about the slop. there's pretty much no more slop in the shifter. Especially in the first and second gear, the combination of the shift bushing and the shift stop makes those two gears feel so crisp. And since I do daily drive this car, I'm stuck in traffic going to and from work all the time. So having a nicer shifting feel in the lower gears is definitely a plus. Now let's talk about how the shifter feels when going into gear. And honestly, it's completely different. Previously, the OEM shifter felt like you're slamming or pulling the shift lever into a bag of broken glass. Now, it has a more notchy clunk feeling, which is a good thing. It feels more mechanical and direct. It takes away the numbness that the previous shifter had. The throw is comically short now compared to what it was before. There was a couple times I had to double check to make sure I was in gear, because I have been daily driving this car for a year and a half now, give or take, and I've gotten used to the gear positions. And now I'm sort of relearning them and getting used to how short the throws are. I'm able to pull off smoother, faster shifts with this shorter throw, which just makes the driving experience that much more engaging. Now, the one thing to mention, you do have to put in a little more force going into gear. It's not really a negative thing. It makes the car feel more mechanical, but that's the one thing to mention, if anything, is that it's not as light and easy to go into gears as before. But I'm all about that. I love a more engaging driving experience. I love how it feels more mechanical, more notchy. It's definitely less toyish than what it was before. Overall, guys, if you own a VB WRX, I 100% recommend these three mods if you're sort of fed up with the toy-like numb shifter that it came with from the factory. And these mods are part and parcel of what I'm trying to accomplish when it comes to mods with my car. I'm just trying to enhance the driving experience, to kind of button it up a little more, to just make it more fun. So I've got my Pro Tune, so there's a lot more power under the hood. It unlocks the restrictive factory tune. So it really unleashes what the FA24 is capable of. Now I have the shifting mods in place, so the transmission feel is just right where I want it. I think the next thing is the sound. This car is fairly quiet. It's literally stock besides the Pro Tune and now these shifting mods. So whether it be an intake or an exhaust of some sort, that would be the next step, just to get a little more sound out of it. On that note, let me know down in the comments if you have installed shifting upgrades or transmission upgrades to your VB WRX. I'm curious to know what they are and your experience with them. Anyways, that's it for this video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care.